Okay, so drawing 2 class for your self-portrait project that you'll do in colored pencil. The technique that you are going to use is called burnishing. So let me show you what that is and what that means, what that looks like. So you're going to do this as part of your assignment, and you're going to use colored pencils, and just in your sketchbook is fine. So if you are coloring, first of all, you want to make it look nice and smooth, not streaky like that, but like this. So this is not burnished yet because I have not used full pressure with this color. If I do use full pressure, now this area is fully burnished, but it's just one color. We want to use lots of colors to do burnishing. We'll get to that in a minute. This over here, you can see the texture of the paper, and that is actually called the tooth of the paper. The tooth of the paper is this texture, and you can see all these little speckly white places showing through. So to have something fully burnished, you want to get rid of that. But like I said, we want to use more than one color. So let's say I'm doing orange. Instead of just using plain orange, maybe I'll use that red and also this yellow. And with the yellow, again, I'm not pushing with full pressure yet. Just lightly. And then I'm going to go back to the red, start pressing a little bit harder. And it's always good to shade in different directions if you want it to be more smooth. That'll kind of blend things together a little bit easier. Now, since the red is such a strong color and the yellow is nice and light, unless I want my red to overpower everything, I'm going to press harder with the yellow compared to the red. So now I'm using full pressure with the yellow, shading in a couple different directions, and now I have orange, which looks a lot different than if I used an actual orange colored pencil, right? This looks better because it has a lot more depth of color and just looks nicer. It looks more artistic than just a single solid color. So one thing I want you to think about is the tooth of the paper is the texture, and think of it like a lot of little fingers and hands grabbing onto the color. And once those fingers are full, once those hands are full of color, they can't really hold anymore. So if I try to shade with the red over this more, it's not really accepting much more of that color. And if it does, it's just going to get smeary. So here, if I do, if it's not fully burnished, then there's more of those little hands, more of the tooth of the paper that can grab onto more color. So in your project, you need to have some of it fully burnished or all of it, but at least certain parts should be fully burnished with multiple colors. And I would recommend you do that in places especially that are parts that you want to focus on, such as the main parts of the facial features. Now, you guys are going to be using some of the colored drawing paper that you received. Virtual students, you have some black paper and some colored paper. I want you to use the colored. You're going to choose one of those colors, and you'll cut out an 11 by 14 piece. This here is a piece of the same kind of paper, but just in white. Notice that if I shade on here, I can see a different tooth of the paper on this kind compared to my sketchbook. So here I want you to try burnishing when you actually do the project, and pretty much do the same thing, but keep in mind that the tooth of the paper will act a little bit differently than in your sketchbook. You can still burnish it enough that the tooth of the paper is smoothed out and intensified with the colors. So what I want you to do for this part of the assignment to practice burnishing is pretty much mess around with this kind of thing. I want you to try a single color fully burnished, a single color not fully burnished. I want you to try fully burnishing, mixing multiple colors, and don't do just this. Try different combinations of colors. Try a combination of warm colors, combination of cool colors. Maybe try mixing cool and warm colors together. Take a photo of that and turn that in for this part of the assignment.